What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Friday Fuel. Today, I'm switching it up a bit. All right, so today I changed my topic last minute, to be very honest with you. I had another episode pretty much filmed that I took yesterday. And then there were a few things that happened this morning that made me pivot and choose this topic that I want to talk about today. And this is a vulnerable video for me. I'm going to be very honest and very open with you guys. Just to give context as to why I do what I do. And, a lot of you, if you're one of my clients, you know me. If you've taken class with me at Strong Side, you know how I am. And, I love my job. I love talking about health. I love talking about nutrition. Man, I love working with my clients. They inspire me all the time. Where people's motivation comes from, it truly lights my heart up. I love my job, y'all. But something I want to make extremely clear is where I came from. I've had a few conversations with a few of my clients. I've had a few conversations with people in class when I'm coaching class, or even when I'm just working out and people make comments here and there about where I am right now. And it's about me, they're all very kind. No one's like negative or mean. It's all very kind. Like, you're so positive. You're so strong. Like, you have all these muscles and you're so fast, and it's all very nice things. And I am so flattered. But I need people to understand where I came from, because I want to stop the comparison game in a negative way. Where I came from, I think about where I was at about, 5-6 years ago. Actually, almost 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 6 years ago. If I can't do math. About 6 years ago, I think about where I was at, and I was in the worst space of my life. When I say space, I mean, like, I was so unhealthy. When I say unhealthy, I literally, like, my blood work was not stellar. And when I went to the doctor, because I felt terrible. I had no energy. I was exhausted. I was negative. God, y'all, I was so moody and negative. And somehow, like, when you're around negative people, negative things just they attract negative things. That was me. There was always something going wrong. Whether my computer blew up, my hard drive with all of my work crashed. I got into a car accident. Man, it just followed me everywhere I went. And I was only sleeping about 3 hours to 4 hours a night. But I was eating all the diet foods. I was eating all the protein bars. I was eating a high protein diet, and carbs were the devil. And, but I can't eat fat either, because that's going to make me fat. And, you better restrict all your calories. And I was miserable. I was so lost. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. And so I hated life. I was like, I'll never win. I will never lose weight. I will never feel good about myself. I am going to have this eating disorder the rest of my life, because that's what it was. I'm going to be very honest. And I've had a hard time, like, just saying that out loud to, like, a whole bunch of people, but I had an eating disorder. And in being in that place where food was the enemy, I was so exhausted, but I would force myself to go run for miles on the treadmill, because I thought that was the only thing that would get me into shape. Just run my little heart out on the treadmill until I can't anymore, or until I throw up, and then not eat anything afterwards because I'll lose pounds that way. Just all of these concepts that we know are not the answer. And coming from that place, I don't regret it, and I don't look back on it and just have regrets or sadness around it. Because if I didn't have those moments, if I didn't have that point in my life where I hated myself and hated my life and was just completely lost, I never would have had to find the strength to pull myself up and start making moves for myself and realize what it takes to earn health. Because everyone thinks health is just something everyone thinks we're entitled to it, and we're not. It's a privilege. You have to earn it every single day. And that's where I was. And I came from a place too, like back in high school, I used to growing up, I would pride myself on being an athlete. Like, I was a kid that really liked sports, but if it didn't naturally come to me, I would quit. Like, I'll never forget, I was going into high school, and I had been playing lacrosse in middle school, and I was good. I was really good. Like, I was pretty decent. I picked it up pretty quickly, and I thought I was like a rock star. Then I tried to go back. I tried out for the team in high school, and I didn't make the team. All my friends did, and I didn't. And I was a mess. I cried my eyes out. And I said, oh, well, you know what? Lacrosse isn't for me. I have other aspirations. Like, I'm just, I'm going to work out on my own. I'm still an athlete. I can still do things. But I don't want to. And I came up with every excuse as to why I just didn't work hard enough to make the team. And the fact that it didn't come naturally to me, I wanted to quit. I didn't want to take the time to put in the effort to earn a spot on the team. And meanwhile, all these years of my life leading up until my rock bottom in about 2016, 17, I didn't think sleep mattered. And if I stayed up all night, I was a better human for it. And I was more productive, and I was going to be better. And if I ate just protein bars and starved myself and limited all of my calories, that's how I would be thin. And I would be able to then eat a cheeseburger on the weekend and earn it. I would have to earn eating a cheeseburger with my friends on the weekend. But then there were days where I would completely binge out on all of the junk food ever because I did good all week. I'm going to binge out. I'm going to eat everything that makes me feel good for an hour. And then the next morning, loathing and hate and all of those things would creep in because it totally spun out of control. And I'll even, in this little empty space here, I'll go ahead and put this picture of me when I was pretty much at my rock bottom. This was me doing all the things that diet culture would tell me to do. I would starve myself. I didn't sleep. I ate all high protein. Carbs were the worst. No fat at all. Water, what is that? If anything, I just wanted to get drunk all the time. So it's hard to talk about because I don't recognize that human. The only connection I have to that person is when I think about the last 5, 6, 7 years to get myself out of that place. It wasn't overnight. It wasn't just like, oh, great. Like, here I go. You know what? I'm going to be healthy today. And off I go. Wasn't that at all. There was a lot of ebbs and flows along the way to get me to where I am now. And it was not easy at all. And there was a lot of bad influences of people who wanted to keep me towards that lifestyle. there's a lot of misleading information and education out there, and it's confusing and complicated. And I got to a point where I was like, am I gonna hate myself the rest of my life? Is this what I have to look forward to? It was like, I don't want to hate me, because I gotta live with myself for the rest of my life. And when I started asking those types of questions and realizing, like, I'm in my 20s and I don't love where this is going, that's when I decided I had to start making a change. I say all of that because you can't compare your health journey to someone else's. Ever. I don't compare mine to other people's because everyone's is different. But all that to say, I absolutely can sympathize and understand what it's like to be in a place where you feel lost and confused and miserable and you don't know where to start with your health journey. And it's hard. It's hard to look yourself in the mirror and be like, this is where I'm at, and I got a long way to go. And when you have a long way to go, it is hard to accept and believe that you'll ever get to that goal of whatever you have in your head. But what I can say in motivation is that it's possible. Because if it was possible for me, this dark, moody, angry, scared, lost, confused person that thought I was going to have to starve myself the rest of my life in attempt of looking the way I wanted to look, in attempt of feeling the way I wanted to feel, I never would have believed you if you told me it was possible to eat food and move well and achieve your goals and still love your life. I never would have believed you. Mm-mm. So it's a lot to cover, and it's a lot of me talking, but I wanted to go ahead and share a part because I am very conscious of my age. I am 26 years old, and most of my clients are not 26 years old. Probably about 80% of them are older than me, and I don't have children. I got a husband and 2 dogs. So I can only relate so far. But what I can sympathize with and empathize, I guess that's the proper word, is that, like, my perspective hasn't changed as a coach to where, like, I understand like, maybe squats are extremely difficult for you. Maybe you hate squats. Maybe you've never touched a barbell and it scares the living hell out of you. Maybe you've never eaten vegetables and they gross you out right now. I started there, so I do understand. And I am more than happy to have that conversation. But I think I want it to be out in the open to where my perspective hasn't changed. And the fact that I'm a coach still, I love it, and I can't imagine any other job for me, truly. But I am still the person who started in my brain in this gutter of being completely lost and scared and totally confused, and honestly felt completely hopeless and helpless. But it took a lot of grit to get out of that place. And it's hard. And I'm not saying it's easy. Ever. It is never easy. The reason I became a coach is because I want to help people out of that place, because I never ever want anyone to feel the way that I did at that one point, because unless you've experienced what that's like, it's hard to relate. It's hard to understand what a deep depression feels like, what a complete anxiety-ridden life feels like, to feel like the worst, like just feel bad all the time. unless you've been there, it's really hard to relate. And so I make this video because I've recognized that people are starting to compare, and I have not always been this person. I have very much been in dark places, and that grit, I don't know where it came from, but I knew that there had to be more in this life than hating yourself forever. So I say that to say I love being a coach. And I just wanted to offer that perspective as to most coaches start there. Most coaches become a coach because they know what it's like to feel terrible. But they've made the moves to work their way out of it because they want to help other people and give back. And it's exactly why I do it. Because I wish I had more guidance back then. And that's all I want to give now. So that's why I made this Friday Fuel. This became a super long video, so if anyone's still watching, cool. That's awesome. Thanks for listening to me for 16 minutes. But one, to offer that perspective, I am still very much a person that is trying to continue to grow and just be a new version of me, the best version of me constantly. Even though I am younger, I started in a really dark place for a long time. And so I think anyone in any part of their journey can understand those feelings. So I say that because I love my job, wanted to offer that out there. And if you have questions for me, please email me. I love chatting about all this because it's a full person experience where it's not just about food, it's not just about exercise, it's not just about how much sleep and your habits, it's about what your why is. Why the heck are you even trying to get out of that dark place? So mine was because I knew that there was more to life than hating myself. And my why became, I want everyone else to stay as far away from these feelings as possible, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to help other people do that. So that's it. That's my Friday Fuel for you guys this week. If you're watching, awesome. Thank you so much. But my email is always in the description if you ever want to chat about anything. Maybe you just need to talk to someone about motivation. I'm there for you. You want to talk about food? Let's do it. Whatever you need. Have a beautiful weekend or days ahead of you, and I'll talk to y'all soon.